De lering Grijsjager Wil is gebaseerd op je zoon Michael. Maar zou hij de Grijsjager ook zijn gaan lezen als Wil niet op hem was gebaseerd?
I don't know. I mean, I did that intentionally to get him interested. I'm not sure that he knew when he was reading them. And I always mean to ask him if he recognised himself in there. But I thought if there was a character that had a lot of his interests and abilities, that he would be more interested in reading the stories, which was what I wanted. I wanted to get him reading. So I don't know if he knew. I don't know if he recognised it. Probably he wouldn't have read them if the character hadn't been like him. There's that thing that Hollywood has given us that all heroes are great big muscle-bound, although a lot of those guys, like Sylvester Stallone, are very small. But there's the impression that they're huge. And I wanted to get away from that. What I wanted to say is for every body type, there's a role. There's a thing they can do, When I visit schools, I often ask, what's bad about being small? What's good about being small? And when they start thinking about it, and the first thing that comes up about what's good is you can hide in small places, And that was what I wanted to get across, that every body type there's no bad one, there's no best one. And a lot of the readers, a lot of the boys reading the books have related to that. A lot of them are small boys, I was thin and kind of gawky. It annoyed me. People could bully you, But I read a series of books about a character called Horatio Hornblower. And Hornblower is thin and knobbly-kneed and gawky, but he was a hero. And everybody looked up to him, and I thought, maybe I could be. I just identified with it. In the original stories, on which the first book was based, there were 20 short stories. And one of them I didn't use because Will and Horace actually fought a duel with mock weapons, with drill weapons. And I didn't use that in the book. I left that out because they become friends in the book, which they never did in the short stories. And I've always thought, it was such a good idea in that duel, and I've just used it in the latest book, and it's the Royal Ranger, Maddie, fights a duel against a knight. I've just used the idea from that one. I thought, finally, I've got to use it.
Beide dochters hebben boeken geschreven, waarvan één als komiek. Wat is Michiel aan het doen? Ik bedoel Michael.
Michael lives in Japan. He lives in the ski fields, and he has a coffee shop there, and he has an 18-year-old son. So it's in a lovely part of Japan. It's up in the mountains, and it's only the last couple of years he's taken up archery again, which I was really pleased about. He stands on his upstairs balcony and shoots. He's in a lovely oak tree wood, surrounded by oak trees, and he has a target down in the trees and he shoots down at it. But yeah, he trained as a chef in Australia, but he runs a coffee shop on the snowfields. And when the girls had their books published, I put them up on the mantelpiece next to each other with a space in between them, and I put a sign in there saying, "This space reserved for Michael's book." Now, I've been trying to remind him a few years back, he had a very, very good idea based on his experiences in Japan. His father-in-law was a fisherman, and Michael had this terrific idea about a bank robbery. And I really wanted him to try and write it, but he didn't do it. But his 18-year-old son about, because the books are now published in Japan as well, and the publishers send Conan, who's my grandson, each new book as it's published. And he's never read them. He actually gave them to his aunt, who loved them. And recently he read the first one, and he came into Michael and said, "This is really good." And he was quite surprised. And Michael said, "Well, you know, your grandfather does know what he's doing."
Zo, poep, 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 poep. Oh, ja, best wel leuk eigenlijk. Ja, volgende vraag. Je hebt wel eens gezegd dat de Gijsjager Halt is gebaseerd op je leermeester uit groep 8. Wat waren dan de overeenkomsten?
Well, I didn't know he was. It was all subconscious. He was my 6th grade teacher. He was small, very, very slender, but very wiry, and he never smiled. He was a very grim, dark figure. And the rumour was in the school, he was a Christian brother, you know, a religious brother, that before he'd become a brother, he was a boxer. And everybody was terrified of him. And as I say, he never smiled for the entire year until the last day. And then he sat round with us and told jokes and laughed. And also had an effect on my life, which I won't go into, but a very positive effect on my life. And I didn't realise that I'd sort of pulled him out of my memory. I didn't. I was writing the 5th book, and I suddenly realised, oh my God, it's Brother O'Connor, which was a weird feeling. And of course, I never got a chance to tell him. He was long gone by then. He was one of those people that had to shave a couple of times a day, but as a Christian brother, they weren't allowed to have beards.
Was in het boek bij tennissen en zo. Toen moest hij als koning moest hij tennissen wegjagen. En dan moest hij op zijn broer lijken die koning was. En toen had hij blijkbaar enorm lang haar. En dan wou hij dat met zijn saksische mes afsnijden. Had hij mijn leermeester ook zo zulke manieren?
Oh, no. Holt, of course, is renowned for cutting his hair with his knife, not a scissors. I've used that in the latest book again. I've come back there because he has to let his hair grow. He's in disguise. And, of course, by the time of the latest book, his hair's white. You know, he's not grey anymore. And I've got a scene where he can cut it because it's driving him mad, and he's there with a pair of scissors, but he hears someone coming and he puts the scissors down and gets his knife. You like that, don't you? You'll like the current one because it's got Madeline, Will, Holt, and Horace are all in it. No, they're all in this book. So it's the full cast working away.
Wij zijn bezig met boek 7 en we gaan naar 8.
I was actually going to finish at book 12, which introduced Madeline, the character. That was going to be the last one. And I decided I really liked her. So I thought, I'll just keep going. And I'm now up to the fourth one in that series. So I'm enjoying it still. I hope, I'll just keep writing them, I think. Yeah.